What's up guys, Luke here with Luke's Points and Miles. Today I want to take the time to talk about my most underappreciated credit card within my arsenal. I'm feeling just a little guilty because even though it is a very popular card on YouTube and in the game in general, I rarely give this card its due, even when I've publicly stated that if I only had one credit card, this would likely be that card. Today I want to do an in-depth review of the Capital One Venture X, and I want to include some things that we generally don't hear on the average YouTube review of this very popular card. Now, some of these things are responses to some of the comments I've received on videos featuring the Venture X, so I want to sit down and explain some of this instead of replying to the same questions and comments over and over. But first, if you are new around here, I talk about credit cards, points, miles, cashback, and travel. If you're interested in staying up to date about those things, please subscribe to the channel. And if you get any value at all from this completely free video, give me a like for the YouTube algorithm. With that out of the way, let's get right into it. First things first, this is a full service travel credit card. So if you have no plans of ever leaving your home, then you most likely will not be interested in a product like this. However, if you even plan to travel a little bit, then this card might make more sense than the majority of other products on the market right now, and I will explain why. And by the way, if you want a link to this particular card, I will link my referral code in the description below. Let's get one thing out of the way right now. This card has a $395 annual fee, but if that gives you some sticker shock, stick around. I'm going to tell you why that is a great value if you plan to seek any adventure at all here in 2023. First off, this card, like many other full-service travel cards, has a pretty sizable sign-up bonus. With the Venture X, you will earn 75,000 Venture miles for spending $4,000 on the card in the first 3 months of card ownership. If that sounds like too much spend for you, I do have a couple videos on my channel with tips and tricks on how to make that minimum $4,000 spend a little more manageable. Now, if you're wondering what the value of those Venture miles are, then stick around and I'm going to go over your most common options. And if you want, you can check out some of my videos in the Maximum Value Redemption series that can show you how to get huge value from those miles. Before we do all that, I want to talk about how the card earns. The Venture X will again earn Venture miles, and you'll earn those miles on every qualified purchase. Most of us in the credit card game, we use a credit card for every single purchase we make. We earn rewards, then we make sure we pay our balances every month or sooner, so we never pay a single cent of interest. Now, let's talk about how many miles we can earn. The Venture X card earns 10 times miles when booking hotels and rental cars within the Capital One travel portal. Now, using the Capital One travel portal does come with its disadvantages, but it offers a simple, easy way to book travel and earn tons of miles. I have used the Capital One travel portal and I don't have any complaints, although I do prefer booking travel directly with hotels and airlines. The card earns 5 times miles on airline tickets, again, when using the travel portal. The travel portal has some neat tricks such as some price watch tools to make sure you're getting good value. The best part of the Venture X is that it will earn double miles on everything else. So you're earning at least 2 miles on all qualified purchases. Now, if you have been around the credit card game, you'll hear folks talk about getting at least 2% back on all purchases. And at first glance, this seems to do that. But in this video, I'm going to show you how those 2 miles can often be worth much more than just 2%. Again, let me get through some more information about the card and I'll come back to the miles and their redemption values in just a bit. You heard me say this card was a full service travel card, and it is. Let me go over some of the benefits that make that $395 annual fee well worth it. Every year of card ownership, you'll get a $300 travel credit through the travel portal. Now, you'll notice a theme here that a lot of the value of the card is tied to using Capital One service for travel. That's true, but there are also other ways to get tons of value. This $300 is easy to use. You just make a purchase or purchases within the travel portal and the first $300 will be credited to your account in just a few days. Easy money. On your card's anniversary year, you'll earn a bonus of 10,000 miles. This should be considered a value of at least $100. So when you factor in the $300 travel credit and the $100 worth of miles in year 2 and beyond, that more than equals the $395 annual fee. Now that we've figured that out, let's get into the benefits. The card gives you a $100 TSA pre-check or global entry credit. Now, this benefit is normally slept on by a lot of credit card folks because we have so many cards that give us this credit. But if you are new to the game, TSA pre-check and or global entry is such a great benefit. I would not recommend traveling without it. The card gives the user access to airport lounges. Now, if you've ever watched my channel, you know that I value airport lounge access greatly. The first time you sit in a nice lounge with that hot cup of coffee or adult beverage, and you can't hear Adam's kids coughing and sneezing and screaming, and you can't hear the lady loudly talking about the new Netflix series on her speakerphone, you're just sitting in this super busy airport relaxing. The card gives the user a Priority Pass Airport Lounge membership, which gives the user access to over 1,200 airport lounges worldwide. But it also gives the user access to the relatively new Capital One Lounge. The Capital One Lounge in Dallas, DFW is one of my favorite airport lounges in the US, and I will make sure I visit it every time I'm in that airport. Now, the lounge in DFW is actually the only lounge in the Capital One network at the moment, but there are at least 2 more being built in Denver and Washington Dulles. I will actually be using my Priority Pass membership next month at The Club in New Orleans, MSY. It's just a nice perk. Here is a not so common benefit. You can have up to 4 authorized users for this card for free. Now that means up to 4 people will also get a Priority Pass membership as well as access to the Capital One lounges. On a lot of cards, authorized users cost extra. This card will give the user Hertz President's Circle status. Now, I don't rent cars often, but this should get you some upgrades and some expedited pickups. Just some things to make your trip a little smoother, maybe a little nicer. This card grants the user trip interruption and trip cancellation insurance, as well as lost luggage reimbursement. Now, if you don't think that is important, just Google all the really cool Southwest images over the last couple of weeks. This next part is one of those perks that we all need these days. If you use your card to pay your cell phone bill each month, you'll have cell phone protection. This protection is in the form of $800 with a $50 deductible, and you're eligible for 2 claims per year. Most of us have expensive cell phones. We need to protect them. This card gives the user purchase protection, extended warranty protection, and return protection on purchases. These are those things that we generally never think about until it happens. Another really great travel benefit this card provides is primary rental insurance. So if you rent cars on your trips, this should absolutely save you plenty of cash. So as you can see, there are a lot of benefits for holding this card if you're ever going to travel. But speaking of travel, let's talk about these miles. These are some of your options for how to redeem your Capital One miles. First off, you can purchase travel within the travel portal and pay with your miles. With this option, you'll earn 1 cent per point. So using 10,000 miles, you could potentially purchase $100 in travel. With 100,000 miles, $1,000 in travel. Pretty straightforward. Now, most credit card insiders would not consider this to be a great way to redeem. I think some scenarios exist where this is more than acceptable. Very similar to booking with the travel portal is this option. You can pay off the balance from your travel purchases with your miles. Same concept, 100,000 miles will pay off $1,000 in travel purchases. Again, this option does have its place. Think about booking a boutique hotel or that perfect Airbnb. You can purchase that with your card and then pay off the balance with your miles. Same as with a cruise. Some other options include purchasing gift cards with miles. This is done with a redemption value of normally 1 cent per mile. I don't really recommend this, but if you are absolutely not going to travel in a very long time, then it could be an option. Redeeming for cash. This really should only be done if you are in dire straits because you're only going to get half a penny per mile. So 100,000 miles will only get you $500. This is not recommended because it's the least valuable redemption, but I want to tell you that if you have to do it, don't dwell on it. Life happens. Next up, we have my favorite way to redeem miles, and that is using the Capital One Venture Transfer Partners. This option takes the most time and work, but it can yield some tremendous value and some lifelong memories. I'll put a list on the screen with all the Capital One travel partners, and I want to go down the list with some common ways to use some of these partners. I do have videos detailing these partners and other Capital One videos, so if you want some specific details on each of these partners, I'll link that video below. Basically, you will create an account with these partners and you will be able to transfer Capital One miles to the partner program. Doing this can allow you to book travel that you otherwise may not have been able to or willing to afford. Air Canada's Aeroplan is not just for flights to our neighbors up north. With Aeroplan, you can book tons of great flights on Star Alliance partners. Aeroplan is widely considered one of the best transfer partners in the entire travel game. One common example is you can book business class tickets from North America to Europe for 60,000 Aeroplan miles. Air France KLM is one I talk about a lot on this channel. How about lie flat business class seats on Air France from New York to Paris for 55,000 Air France miles? That's like a $3,500 flight. Avianca Life Miles is a Columbia airline, but with Avianca, you can book tons of great European trips. My favorite that I'm really looking at right now is Chicago to Zurich on Swiss Air business class for 63,000 Avianca miles. That's like a $4,000 flight. Critics of these partners have said there aren't any domestic carriers, so I just can't use them. Well, I invite you to watch my videos specifically about using British Airways to fly American Airlines flights and using Virgin Atlantic to book domestic Delta flights cheaply. Those are just a few examples. I really could go on for hours, but one thing you may find lacking is the hotel partners. I guess that's where the portal comes in, or better yet, you can always book direct with your favorite hotel, then pay your balance with points. To end the video with a couple small things that you may not have thought about. If you're a fan of the channel, you know I'm a big fan of American Express credit cards and their entire program. However, when I've been overseas or in another country, I'm always dealing with merchants and vendors that won't accept Amex. This won't likely be the case with the Venture X Visa. Visa is much more widely accepted, and I've never actually ran into a merchant that wouldn't take it. Another aspect of this card is it's great for folks that don't want to maintain and keep track of tons of cards. In my opinion, it's the best single card option out there, but another reason why I like it is this. If you're someone that doesn't mind having a lot of cards, but you're very cashback oriented, then the Venture X goes very well as the travel card within a cashback system. Use the Venture X for all your travel needs and 5% cashback cards for everything else as much as possible. The card is just versatile. Okay guys, I've gone on enough, but I wanted to give you more than just the numbers. I wanted to give you some perspective. Again, if you want to apply for this card, I will leave a link in the description. Using my link greatly helps the channel and it will allow me to make more non-sponsored content. As always guys, if you stayed around all the way to the end just to hear our sweet outro music, then I appreciate you and I thank every single one of you.